Financial fair play, it's everywhere. Transfer rumors, headlines, even the stands. But what is it, and why does it spark so much debate? Clubs like Everton and Nottingham Forest face points deductions, while Manchester City and Chelsea are under the microscope. FFP isn't just for accountants anymore. It shapes who your club can sign, sell, and how they compete. The reason? Money. Football is a multi-billion-pound industry, and the stakes have never been higher. Clubs chase glory with massive spending, but that comes with risk. FFP was introduced to control this arms race, to stop clubs from risking their futures for short-term success. The Premier League's profit and sustainability rules now have real consequences. Points deductions, transfer bans, and more. Understanding FFP is crucial for fans. It explains why your club might sell a star or back out of a big transfer. These rules are the new battleground in football. This video will break down the jargon, explain the mechanics, and show how FFP shapes the game. Is FFP a necessary safeguard, or does it just protect the elite? The answer is complicated. By the end, you'll see the financial game behind the pitch, one that's just as fierce as the football itself. To understand FFP, rewind to the early 2000s, football's financial Wild West. Super-rich owners like Roman Abramovich and Qatar Sports Investments poured fortunes into clubs, chasing instant success. UEFA saw a problem. Clubs were racking up huge losses, with many technically insolvent and surviving only on owner bailouts. What if an owner walked away? Clubs could collapse under debt, risking their very existence. Michel Platini, then UEFA president, pushed for change. Football, he argued, was living beyond its means. FFP's goals were clear: protect clubs from self-destruction and create a more level playing field. Clubs would have to live within their means, spending only what they earned. The idea wasn't to stop rich owners, but to limit their ability to outspend everyone else forever. Financial success would depend on smart management, not just deep pockets. In 2011, UEFA's financial fair play regulations arrived, changing the game for good. It marked the end of unchecked spending and the start of a new regulated era. Football's financial landscape would never be the same. The core of FFP was the break-even rule. Clubs couldn't spend more than they earned, but there was wiggle room. Initially, clubs could lose up to $45 million over 3 years, later reduced to $30 million if owners covered the gap. Not all spending counted equally. UEFA encouraged investment in stadiums, youth academies, and community projects by excluding these from break-even calculations. The focus was on curbing risky spending on wages and transfers, while rewarding long-term investment. Recently, UEFA shifted to the squad cost rule. Clubs can spend only a set percentage of revenue on wages, transfers, and agent fees. By 2025-26, that cap will be 70%. For every $100 earned, only $70 can go to squad costs. This links spending power directly to income, making it harder for owners to cover losses with cash injections. Domestic leagues have their own rules, like the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, which limit losses to $105 million over 3 years. These rules have teeth, as seen with points deductions for Everton and Nottingham Forest. Understanding both UEFA and domestic regulations is key to grasping the financial pressures clubs face. The web of rules is complex, but it's reshaping football's future. Clubs must now balance ambition with sustainability. To comply with FFP, clubs must balance revenue and costs. Revenue comes from 3 main streams: broadcasting, commercial, and matchday income. Broadcasting is often the biggest: TV rights for domestic leagues and European competitions. Commercial revenue includes sponsorships, merchandise, and global partnerships. Big clubs can generate hundreds of millions here. Matchday income, tickets, hospitality, concessions, depends on stadium size and facilities. That's why clubs invest in newer upgraded stadiums. More seats mean more revenue and FFP flexibility. On the cost side, player wages are the biggest expense, often 60–70% of revenue. Transfer fees are spread over the length of a player's contract through amortization. Other costs include staff wages, stadium operations, travel, and agent fees. The challenge: keep these massive costs in check to stay within FFP and PSR limits. Clubs must be strategic, Growing revenue and controlling spending is now as important as winning on the pitch. The financial game is relentless, and every decision counts. Manchester City's FFP saga is legendary. In 2020, UEFA banned them from Europe for 2 years and fined them $30 million for allegedly inflating sponsorship revenue. City appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which overturned the ban, citing insufficient or time-barred evidence. The fine was reduced. The case exposed the difficulty of enforcing FFP against wealthy, well-lawyered clubs. Paris Saint-Germain faced similar scrutiny over inflated sponsorships linked to their owners, leading UEFA to lower the deal's FFP value. Barcelona's crisis was different. Reckless spending and a huge wage bill, worsened by COVID, led to La Liga salary cap breaches and Messi's exit. In England, Everton and Nottingham Forest were docked points for breaching domestic rules, showing FFP's real-world impact. These cases fuel debate: can FFP truly control spending, or do the richest clubs always find a way? The battle between regulation and ambition rages on. Where there are rules, there are loopholes, and FFP is no exception. Amortization is a key trick. Transfer fees are spread over contract length, so long deals lower annual costs. Chelsea exploited this by signing players to 8-year contracts, but UEFA and the Premier League now cap amortization at 5 years. Inflated sponsorships are another loophole. Owners' companies overpay for deals, boosting club revenue on paper. UEFA now uses independent auditors to assess if these deals are at fair market value. Clubs also book full profits from player sales immediately, especially for academy graduates, making these sales FFP gold. This has led to clubs trading players near accounting deadlines to boost their books. Regulators are watching, but creative accounting remains a constant cat-and-mouse game. Every new rule spawns new workarounds. The financial arms race continues, just with more paperwork. The old FFP system was criticized as too complex and easy to dodge. UEFA's new squad cost rule is simpler. Clubs can spend only a set percentage of revenue on wages, transfers, and agent fees. The cap drops from 90% to 80% and finally to 70% by 2025-26. This directly targets the biggest costs and makes it harder for owners to cover losses. New rules also enforce timely payments to clubs, staff, and tax authorities, aiming to prevent debt crises. Penalties are harsher: points deductions, transfer bans, even exclusion from competitions. The 5-year amortization cap closes a major loophole. The new system is clearer and, in theory, harder to manipulate. But will it work? Or will clubs just invent new tricks? The next few seasons will reveal if this is real reform or just another round in football's financial chess match. FFP has both passionate supporters and fierce critics. Supporters say it's improved football's financial health, more clubs are profitable, reckless spending is down, and clubs are safer from collapse. It forces clubs to act responsibly, protecting communities from the fallout of financial disaster. But critics argue FFP locks in the dominance of the elite, making it nearly impossible for new challengers to break through. Linking spending to revenue favors clubs with decades of global fan bases and commercial power. Smaller clubs can't just invest to catch up, they must grow slowly, if at all. There's also a sense that big clubs escape punishment, while smaller ones face harsh sanctions. Some say FFP just shifts spending into less transparent areas, like multi-club models. The debate is far from settled. Does FFP protect the game, or just the status quo? The answer depends on where you stand and which club you support. FFP has reshaped football for better and worse. It was born to save clubs from financial ruin, and it's forced discipline on a wild industry. But controversy, loopholes, and legal battles remain. The new squad cost rule is a fresh attempt at control, simpler, stricter, and focused on the squad. Will it work? Or will clubs find new ways to bend the rules? The financial game is always evolving, and fans need to understand it to see the bigger picture. Money will keep dominating the headlines, so keep questioning, keep learning, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the price of football. Subscribe for more on how money shapes the beautiful game.